You mentioned Miss My Homies earlier.
Yeah.
And there's a Tupac,
Yeah.
brief Tupac tribute there.
Yeah.
Now there's been recent conversations about, you talking to Pac at some point and wanting to bring him over to No Limit.
Yeah, let me tell you how that happened. It's like, I lived in the Bay. So at first, I'm hustling, doing my thing. Everybody know who I am. EA Ski was signed to me. I had a lot of people. I had a lot of underground people. But people seen what I did business-wise. So a lot of guys called me. I mean, anybody you could think of called me. From Eminem to whoever, T.I., whoever you could think of, we done had that conversation where they wanted to be with No Limit. So, it was a sad tragedy, but it was like the man was trying to get his life together too, like thinking, what could I do? Same thing, with Snoop. Especially we got Snoop, everybody wanted to, but this stuff even early on is like, people start checking for us, we was making money. They know we was printing money. There's a difference. They making money now, we was printing money. So it's like everybody want to be with the people that are winning. I mean, I don't care whether you're an R&B singer, whoever, we had some kind of influence on you, whether you was Beyonce, En Vogue, to whoever, everybody wanted to be a soldier.
How did those conversations go? Like, I mean, did he reach out to you, I assume?
Yeah, like you got to imagine, like I started on the road, I started doing shows with them, but at first I was just making money. So people knew me as, that's the hustler right there. He gonna go out there and get it. And I, just being around people know you good people, so people be able to tell the difference if something bad here is not working, something good. It's like being in a relationship. You know the good people. So a lot of people just came at me, want to know what's up, curious. But a lot of people had contracts, But I'm still an artist, even though I'm a boss, I'm an artist too, so I could talk to anybody from an artist perspective, But I think people was infatuated with how we did business and how we was able to make money and buy things, which a lot of artists couldn't do. They probably was the best lyricists, like you said. I mean, look at KRS-One. He probably, at that time, was Eric B. and Rakim, them, like who could touch them? But at that same time, they wasn't making the type of money we was making. So I think that it affected the whole industry. Where people started, man, I need a deal like P. I want to do my own thing, but it's a lot of hard work. I had to hire a lot of good people to get out there and work to make this happen.
Do you think Pop would have eventually made his way over to No Limit?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know. I think whatever happened, I mean, God already had whatever gonna happen. So it's like, to me, Soulja Slim was our Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Like getting in a lot of trouble, but probably one of the most talented guys I met, but really living that street life. It was crazy. I mean, Tupac was nothing bigger than Tupac, but for us, Soulja Slim was that next thing that we could relate to, somebody that's really out there thugging, living that life. People don't know how I met Soulja Slim. I met Soulja Slim, was crazy. So I met, me being a street dude, I met Soulja Slim. He was trying to rob one of my producers, and he didn't know. And so when he see me, I'm like, homie, really? So he see me and my other homie, and he like, man, you better get up out of here with that. You know how it is. He was like, no, big dog, I ain't know that was your people. I'm trying to get my life together. I ain't getting high no more. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm trying to do music. So I'm like, man, that man tripping. Some real New Orleans street stuff. So I'm like, man, give me your number. When you get your stuff together, I'ma holler at you. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, man, I'm telling you. And then everybody started calling me, no, Slim ain't doing nothing crazy no more. But this how I met him. You know what I'm saying? So it was just something about him, man. I couldn't turn him down. Because he just had that swagger that where he gonna come out there and let you know, man, look, he be beating on his own, making his own music, but he wanted out of that type of life. But it's another sad tragedy he couldn't change. He was addicted to it. He was addicted to his homies. And what I was trying to show everybody, from my brother, the Soulja Slim, is like, we gotta make a change if we gonna make it. Like, we can't do the same stuff we used to do. You just gotta sacrifice. I ask everybody all the time, You know, it's like I asked my youngster right there, Ace B, it's like, you know, because he grew up in the same project with me. And me and his uncle was boys. Rest in peace, he not here, but I'm telling him, like, dude, if you're gonna make it, you gotta change your life, and you gotta do something right. And you gotta, sometimes you gotta detach yourself from your homeboys. That's what I had to do. And so that's what I'm teaching Ace B right now. Like, if we're gonna do this music thing, let's go hard at it. That's it. You can't go halfway. You're gonna end up dead in prison. You know, like Mac. I feel like Mac on our label probably was one of the best rappers I ever met in my life. He ended up facing a life sentence. Knocked on my door. I'm like, Mac, now you going to a club that's gonna pay you $5,000 to do a show. How much money you got in your bank? So I got millions. So why you going to that club? They asked me, they want me to come. I said, man, I'm going to sleep. I said, now if you go, you're on your own. He brought his whole team in there. Somebody ended up getting killed. He went to prison. I don't think he had nothing to do with it. But it don't matter. You the biggest thing in there. The same thing with C. C ain't had nothing to do with it. But he the biggest thing in there. So that's what they want. They want to bring you down because they know you're making money, which was dumb. You got millions of dollars in your bank account, you're going to do a show for $5,000.
Why do you think he went to do that show that night?
Because he felt like he had to go because he was on the bill. He went, you know, I mean, they thugging. That's what you call it. You know, everybody thugging at that time. You know, I'm thugging going to sleep. I done did all my thugging. God spared my life. I done almost lost my life at gunpoint and been missed a couple of times. I say, man, this ain't nothing but God. I done went to a club to go, somebody hit one of my homeboys. I go to the car, get the gun, ba-da-da-da, shoot, nothing come out. I'm supposed to be going to prison. I'm going to prison, I know that. See the guy again, running out the club on the other side, I get out the car, da-da-da-da, nothing come out. Man, jump in my car and leave, get under the bridge, poof, poof, poof. I said, man, I better take my crazy self and about to go do something with my life. I'm about to go do music for real. I'm out there promoting a record. And I ain't had nothing to do with it. One of my homeboys get into it with somebody. Same thing with C. I went to jail at the House of Blues when I told C, I said, man, we can't keep doing this. I'm the one who went to jail. So that's why I always met, like, C, look, man, I told you we got out of so much stuff, God blessed us, can't keep doing this dumb stuff. You know, but a lot of us addicted to our community and our homeboys. Like, my problem was, when I'd be cool. At that time, New Orleans was the murder capital of the world.
That's a dark sentence. That's a stark statement. Even
Yeah.
Pac was saying, if I'm allowed till I'm 25, and that sounded crazy.
Yeah, because with us, a lot of my partners was dying like 16, 17. You know, they'll come get you at 12 because you'll end up getting juvenile life. Tell you, I need you to handle this, whoop, whoop, whoop. And you wouldn't know. You thinking you doing something, but your life over with. Then you go into prison on a murder charge, think about it. And the big man supposed to take care of you when you get, they're gonna recruit you. You know, I'm playing basketball, I'm shooting jumpers. I'm like, man, they like, look, if you want to get something, you got to bag this up if that's what you know. Ain't nobody doing what we able to do. Say, look, homie, you got a career. I started taking kids out the hood, out the ghetto, playing basketball, starting AAU organizations. You couldn't do that back then. They like, boy, you don't know how to whip that work or something? We can't do nothing for you. So it's a blessing that we was able to educate ourselves and be on the forefront of being able to give back to the hood and taking kids and saying, go get your education. You could be successful, feeding them with some positivity. Even if somebody look at me and call me a hypocrite, P, you was back there hustling. Yeah, I was. That's all I knew. So now I could do my part. I'm in LA, I'm in New Orleans, I'm wherever I live at, places that been good to me, I go back and help the kids, you know, do toy drives, do turkey drives, do whatever. Like be a part of inner city youth, you know. We got a foundation called Urban Born, Let the Kids Grow. It's about helping these kids that could have a second chance and be something and motivating them, see that we actually come from them. Yeah, we got a lot of bullet wounds and scars, but look what God did for us. He could do the same thing for you if you want it. So, you know, that's basically what my life been about, just doing what I do.
You know, the case of McKinley Phipps, Mac.
Yeah.
You know, that case is now, they're re-examining it.
Yeah.
And they found a lot of inconsistencies. I mean, I think your point is correct. Why even go there for $5K if
Yeah.
you got $1 million in your bank account?
Yeah.
But there's also, you know, different allegations that the DA was paying people to point the finger at Mac for that
Well,
case.
that's, to be honest with you, you'll see in my movie, New Orleans for that time was known for a lot of crooked cops. I had to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you seen the NWA movie, you just thought they was just messing with them. You imagine us, we got a little money. If we hustling or whatever, they making $20,000 a year and you might have that in your pocket. What you think gonna happen? You know, so I mean, but it's good people and everything. It's good cops out there. You know what? Some people, a tragedy happens, you got to call 911. Hopefully, you get a good cop to come help you. You know, but sometimes you might get a bad one. So I think it's good and bad and everything. I just know at that time it was a lot more dirty cops in New Orleans. You know, I remember at this time they had a woman and man cop. I'm thinking about remaking the story. It was called Flat Top and Ponytail. This black dude and this white chick, they was causing records. Man, they was murking people, they was jacking people, everything. You go look up that story, Flat Top and Ponytail.
I'm gonna check it out.
Check it out.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
What's your first memory of Currency when you was at the Five?
I mean, you know, Currency for me, he was always a young kid with a lot of talent, but he was always in a rush. That's why it didn't work with me. You know, it's like when I managed Meek Mills. Meek Mills wanted to go get a deal, so he ended up signing with Rick Ross. I'm telling Meek Mills, you a star. You just need to wait. And sometimes we be in a rush where you could do this on your own. I feel like at that time, Currency was in a rush. Whoever was gonna give him a deal to get some spotlight, he was going, but he was probably one of the most talented young people that I knew at that time. And he was a little patient, I think. I think he could have done bigger things earlier in his career, not now, just getting on. But he like an OG, but he out here with the youngsters, but he really an OG because he was back there with us, you know. It was funny, him crazy, you know. I don't think Currency knew how small he was. He'll get into it with Crazy. I'm like, man, don't do that, Currency. You know, Crazy a real monster. Crazy gonna put them hands on you, man. Don't do that. But for some reason, him and a couple other artists, they'll test Crazy, and I got to go and like clean it up. Like, man, see, you shouldn't have did that. But he always was a good dude, man. Currency had a good heart. That's what I liked about him. Now I want to see him win. I see that he's doing a lot of good things, being able to be around Wiz when he got discovered and stuff. I just think this thing is, I think it's time, you know. It's now or never for Currency. You know what I'm saying? If he really gonna pop, I think it's the time now. But he been around a while.
Do you think, I mean, I hadn't thought about this until you just said it now, but it sounds like he might be listening. I mean, that's his model now. He's not.
Yeah, everybody listening now. You know, after a while, you don't get it. You know, I guess like my grandfather always told me, you know, if you don't get it what I say, you're gonna have to learn the hard way or get it out there, however it go. You know, and I think a lot of people end up going through that. They see because they thinking when people come to me, they think I'm supposed to do so much for them. But it's like, what about you putting your part in? And that's why I'm doing now. Like, I have no artist deal. It's all partnership. It's all 50-50. You do your part, I do my part. We partners. I don't want no artists around me. I'm good on that. Because there's always some artists feel like you owe them so much because they're your artists. You know, I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do your business, you learn your business, you get out here and hustle, you get out there, from social media to whatever, you make yourself relevant, you make good music, and the magic happens from that. I don't need to do you. You need to do yourself. And if you're gonna get 50% of the money, then you need to get out here and do it. Because everybody else did it. I mean, look at Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap then blew up because he got out there and worked. You know, I mean, promoted his record, he believed in it, and look where he's at now. Even with all the haters. That's another one. You talking about, if you want to talk about lyricists, don't even, just talk about hit records. The man making hit records. If you don't respect that, then it's on you. You know, he got Drake to get on the record. I mean, you know, that's when you know you got one.
That's the truth. We smoked with Mystical a couple of weeks ago, and he was really complimentary of you. He reached out to you apparently recently about whether he should sign to Cash Money.
Yeah.
And he talked about how you were a big proponent of it.
Yeah.
And he was actually worried about what you think.
Oh yeah. Now Mystical called me about the time I wasn't doing what I was doing my music. I said they was hot at the time. I'm like, Mike, if that's what you want to do, you need to do that for your family. You just got out of prison. I'm not mad at you. Do what you do. I'm gonna be all right. I'm a hustler. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it didn't work in the end because I just think that Mystical has so much no limit stuff. You know, it's just not gonna work in the end. You know, even if it seemed like it's gonna work. You know, I think that's just what it was. It's like the fans already just know no limit, no limit, no limit, and it just don't work. You know.
You know, one of the things I think, well, I asked you a question about what were your early thoughts about Cash Money and Birdman earlier. It seems like the narrative artists that rocked with No Limit, they speak differently about that time than maybe some of the historical artists on Cash Money. Snoop, for example, he told us how you were the only person he was ever signed to that really gave him money.
Oh yeah.
That's a narrative that's unique to most labels.
Yeah, well, you know, I seen the value in Snoop. Snoop was a hell of a worker, and to me, it's like if you're in the old cars, and I'm a person that I can see the vision through this before it get there, I'm like, I'm about to fix this car up. Everything there is there. It just need whoever relevant. It's just whoever relevant at the time could get around. It's just like anybody. You know, right now Drake could make anybody if he wanted to, because he's just that relevant. Whoever he decide to break and make a good record with, they're gonna be successful because of where he's at now. That's where we were at that time. When everybody was saying it was over for Snoop, I'm like, how's it gonna be over? Because we the hottest thing in the world. So when he get with us, he's gonna be the hottest thing in the world. And that's basically what it is, but there's a lot of these guys that just wanna be stars. They wanna be by themselves. I never wanted to shine by myself. That's why we sold so many records. I want everybody to get a little shine. So that's why you always seen a lot of people with No Limit. When you seen us on the stage, there's a lot of guys shining, you know, and it worked out for the good and the bad, you know, because after a while, some guys didn't want to work. They just wanted you to give. But Snoop was a different breed. Snoop wanted to learn. He watched what I was doing and wanted to hustle. You know, at first he wanted to be an artist, but when he got around me, it started wearing off, man. He asked me, how you get the money over there? Like, man, that's what you need to do. You need to go out and reach out to these sponsors. You need to go out and do this. He started doing it. You know, you got to get rid of some of these people off your team. He started doing it. You know, get experts on your team. Get good people around. Get people that's going to work when everybody else sleep. You got to work when everybody else sleep. You know, that's what a real entrepreneur is. You got to be able to see the vision when nobody else don't see it. I seen stuff that nobody couldn't see. The house was already made, but they just see the wood out there. They're like, oh man, that ain't gonna work. I'm like, man, you don't see this big pretty building? But I'm going against all odds. They worrying about, oh, it's gonna rain next week, the hurricane coming. I'm like, don't worry about it, we good. That's what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur don't care. He gonna go out, he gonna spend his, I was paid everybody. Everybody was paid but me. It was certain times you seen that you thought we was big, everybody was paid but me. I go with no money. That's the type of entrepreneur I am. But I made sure everybody was paid, so they all happy. You know, I done went with times I did stuff for people to make them happy, to give them Christmas presents, and I ain't had even stuff to give to my kids. But it was like, my kids gonna get things down the line with what I'm doing. You know, when I first opened No Limit, I went from making no money. Romeo, a little boy, so I got the music. I just made me $10,000. I'm happy. I'm going into the store to carry the records into the store. Romeo done hit the little switch on the car and run straight into Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm like, man, you tripping. He a little boy, but I'm like, man, you tripping. So I come outside, but I'm happy he ain't go the opposite way, hit it in reverse. He'd have been in the street. I don't know what happened, so I'm thankful. So I got $10,000. I go talk to people at the Kentucky Fried Chicken. I say, man, you don't need to call the police. What could we do? He said, man, it's gonna cost you about $9,000. You got $9,000. I'm in the hood. He said, you got $9,000. Man, I got $10,000 in the shoebox. I'm like, man, here, man, don't call the police, man. Go get you a new window, whatever. Man, I was so mad at Romeo. I'm like, dude, you tripping. But that was my fault. As a parent, I got a second chance. I should have took him out of there. You know what I'm saying? But thinking, oh, he ain't gonna do that.
I know you guys got to roll real quick. I really appreciate the time, man. I just want to ask 2 more questions, if that's
Go
cool.
ahead. Go ahead.
One of them is, you saw, every time I look back at the 2000s, especially when Jeezy came out, I think Jeezy, some of the stuff Ross was doing, I think by the time Ross came out as a solo artist, he had kind of shifted his presentation a little bit. Ad-libs were huge.
Yeah.
Ad-libs and beats, and that's going to move a club was just like what people put on their price tag or whatever.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that? Because to me, that was when Master P's style really became
well, you know,
embraced.
I always, you hear it is influenced by a lot of those South artists. Jeezy, definitely a lot of stuff. I mean, because I'm the first person probably hustled and able to change his life over and do something with it. Gucci Man, Rick Ross. You know, I mean, those guys start building their careers off of the ad-libs, but I always say, they'll just go crazy. Like, then they'd be like, Pete, how many you gonna need? I'm like, man, I gotta put that in there, man, to wake them up. But, you know, that's basically, it always was like that. It was like, I needed that to wake people up. That's what I did with the music.
Changed the whole game.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It had the third dimension that everybody picks up a microphone.
Yeah.
They gotta have their staple.
Oh yeah.
True, like I said, that's my favorite No Limit project of all time. I thought it was the one that's most well put together. I thought the balance was tough. It was amazing. In your opinion, though, which album are you most proud of that you released or that you put out?
Ghetto Dope for me. I feel like Ghetto Dope changed something. Ice Cream Man changed something. I mean, just my opinion. You know, every time I give an opinion, people might get mad, but it's all good. I'm gonna keep giving opinions. It ain't no thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an opinion. Yeah, I told him now, man, with my opinion, I'm gonna start my own TV show. Just Master P opinions. So whoever won't get mad, they could get mad. I'm gonna talk about whoever they favorite entertainer or athlete or whatever. We're gonna give some real stuff about it. That'll be Master P opinion.
Word up,
Yeah.
word up. And I just want to make sure I heard something clearly earlier. You mentioned different artists that reached out at different points. Did you mention Eminem quickly earlier?
Yeah.
You said that? You had a conversation with him about Jordan.
Everybody reached out, man. I don't think Nas came now. Everybody reached out to us. I did a song with Nas back then, with me and Mac. So I thought that was a beautiful record, but Mac went to prison. We never got a chance to do a video. I might remake that song. I thought that was like it was a real message record that I thought touched a lot of people back then. I think it still would touch people. Right now it's called Where Do We Go From Here? You know? So I think that's something that, it's like poetry. I think everybody did their thing on that record. I think that record could be relevant right now today.